I thought Nashville was like very, I don't know. The guy I dated at the time was very conservative and Christian-y, whatever. And like was like, oh, I can't believe you did that. So I never told anybody. And now I'm like, shit, I should have gone the buddy round and been like, I did this. Fuck it. I have nude photos on the internet from an ex-boyfriend. Like,
I know.
It's
and
you're
fine.
like, look at my body. Like, look at me. Look how hot I am.
Yeah, but nobody knew that like things were going to be so acceptable.
Right, because back then, if you had things like that came out of the closet, that was like
a
disaster for your career.
Destroyer.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And now we're like,
and now it's a career booster.
Yeah.
They're like, oh, she has an OnlyFans?
Yeah.
Cool. We love that.
Yeah. The most famous girl in the world is the one that, wouldn't she like have 1,000 people in one day? That was like the whole thing a couple weeks ago.
I just saw that. I read it. I think it was like
some model
1,022. She banged. That's how many guys she banged in one day.
Oh,
and it went like super viral. And you're like,
good for her.
Wait, she's made $1 million. And now she's a millionaire.
And now she's a billionaire.
Yeah.
1,000 people one day.
They like she just like laid there and just like
she wasn't very happy about it at the end, but she did it for science.
Listen, for science, anything for science.
For science. What science though?
Well,
maybe
just to know if you could take it.
Like
if the human body was able to take it.
So is it?
If anything, yes.
She definitely the light bulb went out for a second. She definitely lost mental. She probably had some like mental things she had to work through.
How do you not?
Yeah.
I wonder if there's
also,
just a line.
Physically.
Well, physically, I'm surprised, but
wait, she
lined up, signed up.
Signed up.
So obviously, like they got tested and they did
15
minute
rounds. And they have a documentary on
15 minutes.
That's too much time.
How much?
Okay, maybe it was 5. I don't know. It was enough. They all had to.
What's the math on that?
There were criteria. I just don't know what they were.
Wow. And
do you have your phone? Do 15 times 1,000. Can anyone do that in their head?
150,000.
How many minutes are in a day? I gotta look this up. But anyway, she did it. She beat the world record.
Well, 15 times 1,000. You just carry the zeros.
Oh, you're Rain Manning right now. I thought you were mathematically dyslexic.
No, I am dyslexic, but you just carry the zeros.
Oh, all right. God.
You just add the zeros, babe.
So that's how many hours.
But I'm saying like now she's a millionaire. She's probably gonna end up on all the red carpets. And you're like, okay, cool.
And she doesn't have to have sex ever again if she doesn't want to.
Nope, she doesn't. She doesn't. But my point is like, man, I was like ashamed to be a Hooters girl. And then you have like people out there that are like, you know, what happens when you reclaim that power? When you're like, you know what, I did it. Who cares? Whatever. And like life opens up.
Here's
look
the
at
thing,
like
though,
Sasha
and I'm
Grey
not judging that at all.
No.
But there's also levels of like integrity that you have to stand behind. Like, you know, you have to be able to really truly not give a shit about what your family thinks or what your friends think.
If you're gonna do it, you have to be
like full
solid.
in.
Yeah.
Like, totally.
You can't make excuses for it. I was saying like I did the Hooters girl thing, and then I was like, oh, you know, I did it because like I needed extra money, and my boyfriend cheated on me. I'm like, no, I want to be a Hooters girl. I thought it was hot. It was fun.
Also, it is
fun. And I got to travel the world.
Yeah.
That's how I ended up in St. Thomas anyway. So I broke up with that boyfriend. I sold my shares, and then Hooters was like, hey, we have a St. Thomas. We need like a house mom, basically, because they were bringing people in from the States because they weren't able to get enough people to work that were on the island. So they'd bring like 18-year-old girls from Kentucky who had never seen an island before. And they were not lasting for 24 hours because they were like balls to the wall.
Sure.
You know?
Yeah.
So they needed someone to be like, kind of like house. And so I did that. And then I was only supposed to be there for a couple months, and I ended up being there for like almost 2 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Did you love it?
I did. And then I moved to Miami, and I had even more time of my life.
Wait, still working for Hooters?
Uh-huh. Yeah, I ended up doing marketing for them. And then I got to like, and then they were like, hey, we need this little arm of the business where we're doing more community work. And so I got to work with like nonprofits and for-profits, basically just where do you put the money, which landed me like on the field of Miami Dolphins. And like I got to hang out at the, you know, at all the games of the Heat. And that's when the Heat was having like the three-peat like season.
Yeah.
And so I was going to like everywhere, and I was like not I was just a normal person, not famous, no Instagram, nothing, but like they knew me because they were the partnerships we had.
Yeah.
So I got all the crazy tickets, and I still got to be like a normie, which was the coolest thing because I did a lot of stupid shit, and that's so not on the internet.
I was like, thank the heavens above.
Yeah.
That in my 20s,
there was no internet.
There was internet, but there was no Instagram.
That's right. That's Instagram. Yeah. No Instagram.
Yeah. I thank the heavens above.
Or that we just weren't inclined to share. Because like we had MySpace and stuff, but I wasn't inclined to share all those things.
No.
Like I wasn't like, I was on Instagram, but I wasn't like, oh, I want everyone to see that I'm hanging out with like, you know, LeBron's back in the whatever. Like I never like did any of that. So,
but
you know
MySpace was more like for thoughts. Like,
yes.
You know what I mean? Then Facebook was like like I just have to put a thought on, or like whatever they used to be
which
called.
Which is why
your
Twitter.
wall, post on your wall. Did you see what Taryn wrote on her wall?
Yeah. Or like your 5 favorite friends on MySpace. You know, that was like
Tom was one of them.
Tom was always one.
Tom was always one. He was my first friend.
Oh,
yeah.
He was
always like the sub tweets and the quotes. And you're like, I'm just feeling very nostalgic today, and like some like random quote that people were like, oh, I wonder what she means by that.
It still comes up, the memories on Facebook. Like it was like 14 years ago, you said something really dumb and emo.
You were like super passive aggressive against your ex.
Yeah.
Yes.
Good stuff.
Good stuff.
Now
Facebook.
Now they call them memes, you know?
Yeah.
And you're like, man, that's not as fun.
Yeah, now they're just quotes that you just post
that other people do. You know, you're like, what happens?
Passive aggressive quotes.
Yes.
All inspirational ones that really hit. You know I'm talking.
You know who you are.
Who
You know who you are.
Everyone's like, oh God, is she mad at me? Is it
me?
That's funny. That's so funny. I used to do that. I don't do any of that shit.
Honestly.
No. I'm too grown.
Well, now you're pregnant, so that's all you're going to be talking about now.
Now you've entered a new course.
How am I going to follow you? It's going to be so exhausting.
Oh my God, it's so annoying.
I might have to follow you too.
Yeah, like it's so funny.
Your pregnancy post was fucking hilarious too.
know.
You were very silly.
Oh, wow! You
I'm just gonna start talking shit about how it is.
That's great.
Yeah, she was like,
but also I don't want to feel bad about it, so just unfollow me.
Yeah,
just be fun.
Yeah, just unfollow me, everybody.
Fun, you're gonna be a hilarious pregnant.
I will say, like, there was